Alrighty, hello, welcome. So, in this video, I'm talking about extroverted feeling. Now, as I spoke in the earlier videos, there's four main types when we talk about MBTI, Jungian theory. We have sensing, we have intuition, we have thinking, and then we have feeling. Now, I like to look at all of them on an axis. So I see um, sensing and intuition on one axis. They're like yin and yang. Um, to me, sensing is like the masculine expression of awareness, and intuition is the feminine or the subconscious aspect of intuition. I'm sorry, of perception and awareness. Now, when we talk about processing these things, the masculine, in my opinion, is thinking, because that requires you to actually generate yourself thoughts and logic on how to do things. The feminine side of that is feeling. Now, what is, I can go deeper into that, but just to focus in on feeling, feeling is a very feminine, and not in a way that's good or bad, because what you realize is there's power in both the masculine and feminine. What we're speaking on is it's an archetype that makes you go within. And when I think of masculine and feminine as an energy, I think of feminine energy as that which goes within, masculine energy as that which goes out, or that which is based on what's outward. So when we talk about feeling, now feeling gets a certain kind of rap in the MBTI circles, in the Jungian theory circles, where feeling is looked at as how does everybody feel, a touchy, an emotion. But I'm here to clear the air on that. When we talk about FE, and extroverted feeling specifically, but first I'll just speak on feeling in general. Feeling in general is a very powerful function. It's essentially a function that already comes to conclusions before you create logic for it. So, for example, if there's a fire going on in the house, your logic can only do so much in that short window of time where you have to get everyone in and out. Your feeling is what's going to trigger you to have the emotions. From the primal fight or flight energy that makes us either run or stand still. That energy has grown with feeling, in my opinion, and grown to a level where feelings have become very sophisticated. And when you want to understand anything about the people around you, it begins with the feeling. So now to get to the extroverted feelers. Now, when we take feeling, there's two forms of feeling. We have introverted feeling and we have extroverted feeling. Okay, and just shine a light on extroverted feeling. What is that? Like, what do you mean extroverted feeling? I thought feeling was just feeling. No, extroverted feeling is the ability to understand the emotions outside of you, the extroverted emotions in the room. That means extroverted feelers have an amazing job or ability to pick up the energy in the environment, to not only pick up the energy in the environment, but there's two things they can do. They can blend in very well if they decide to. You know what I mean? Because they're so aware of the environment that they can meet the needs of that environment. FE types are very known or very good at being able to melt into the environment wherever they are, and their presence is felt because they pride themselves on those situations, on those opportunities. Because as a FE user, that's a huge skill of yours, your ability to meet the environment halfway and add value. So that's one big thing about FE. But beyond that, FE users have a great ability to control the environment, to control the space. So they can go into an environment and blend in, but that's not where they stop, because that's kind of where FI kind of stops, right? FE, extroverted feeling, wants to be in that environment and it wants to help contribute. It finds a sense of duty or purpose or a way to help. One big thing about FE dominant users is they really care. One thing I've seen a lot in a lot of different circles and studying a lot of different FE dominant types, because a lot of my mentors I studied are FE dominant types, ENFJs, for example. These people, as well as ESFJ, I have some really good friends, some of my best friends, ESFJs. And both types that lead with FE, they have this desire to not just be in an environment, but to be in that environment, know everything that's going on, know all the people that matter. You know what I mean? Go in there, make their presence felt, get what it is that they want out of that social environment. Because what you got to understand is FE has an underlying introverted thinking, an underlying TI. And what that TI is trying to do is it's trying to logically create a situation in that environment. And FE is the tool that it uses to understand how to navigate the social world and how to navigate the world, period. FE dominant users are going to be the types to lean on that, on their social connections, lean on their group or their environment, or lean on a proper structure to fit into so that they can really begin to express themselves because they have that innate FE desire to connect. So when I think of extroverted feeling, I think of extroverted feelers. One big thing that they all have, especially as an FE dominant. As an FE dominant, you like a structure and order in regard to the social world, and you're willing to do what you got to do to lead that wave or to be a major player in that way and in that world. As an FE dominant user, your communication abilities are going to naturally be advanced. FE dominant types are very advanced communication wise, but at the same time, they are at the same time they don't mind getting a little down and dirty, a little confrontational, because if you are a FE dominant type, the way you come to understandings, the way you come to truths, the way you learn about the world is through people. That's one big thing about FE. They don't just utilize, like all the types deal with people, but they deal with them differently. FE dominant types, they deal with people for real reasons, either to accomplish a goal, to learn information, to get information, to find out how to improve in the world. All these other types, they're using their dominant type as the meat of what's getting them through life, really. Like, until you develop these lower functions, or these functions that you use, less, you really depend heavily on your first two functions and maybe the third if you're lucky and you've evolved enough, right? When you talk about an FE dominant user, that's FE first, TI third. So, and then even if you're a secondary FE, I'm sorry, that's FE first, TI fourth, and then if it's secondary, it's third. So the TI is either third or fourth in that stack. And the TI is trying to figure out a logic as to, okay, how do I fit in the world? How do I become successful? How do I make sure that I'm okay? How do I make sure that I can, connect with people? How do I work in this environment? And it asks these questions, and then the FE goes in to find the information. So it goes, okay, who do I need to talk to in here? Boom. Okay, where do I need to stand? Okay, how do I need to dress to get this effect in the environment? Boom. What do I got to tell her to make her want to believe? Blah, blah, blah. How do I make the sale? And FE has an amazing ability to sell itself, because while all the other types are focusing on their intuition, the other types are focusing on their sensory environment, some types are focusing on logic, like just, their thoughts. The FE is looking at all of those types and saying, okay, who can I learn from here? Who can I get an idea from here and exchange that with? Who can I get some logic from? One thing about FE, they're amazing at gaining information through people. FE users aren't afraid to ask any question. FE users really aren't afraid to understand, because they primarily understanding people that they trust or see value in. And so the major thing that I'm basically saying about extroverted feeling is extroverted feeling types are types that connect with their environment, and they gain massive amounts of information through their networks, because that is naturally a networking function. And then beyond that, it's a function that structures and organizes the environment. But it organizes the environment with the structure based on what it has picked up in the environment. So extroverted feelers are looking out into the environment, gaining data, and then they use that to make their decisions. Whereas other types like TE types or other types might look at credentials or say, okay, I just position people based on. No, FE types are going to talk to you. They want to have a conversation. They want to have an idea of who you are on a person-to-person level. FE dominant types are what I call very sympathetic. I look at FI as empathy and FE as sympathy, meaning that FE, whereas a FI might be like, man, I feel really bad for you, and will feel that emotion and be there with you in the pain. FE is very resolution oriented, and they'll feel bad for you and they'll want to help you. FE is a hero function. FE types are the types that they're FIs. They don't care as much about themselves. They're the types that are very much so selfless to a regard, but they at the same time do desire power. FE types do desire credibility. They very much so want respect, because that social world is the world in which they dedicate a massive amount of time and awareness to, and they're going to put their best foot forward to help the environment and the group. But it's important that you show the respect back, because one thing you don't want to do is disrespect a FE type that had any respect for you, because they don't take lightly to that whatsoever. FE types are the champions for social relationships, the champions in terms of they value integrity, loyalty, things of this nature. FE types are very big on, because as a FE type, you have to know where the other party is at mentally. You have to know that this person can be loyal, because that's what your whole awareness is based on, is dealing with people. And so if there's any missing link, or somebody seems weird, or you can't be trusted, that's a huge problem to a FE user. I've heard an INTJ once say, I don't have to be friends to do business with anybody. You know what I mean? As long as the numbers are right. That's more of a thinking dominant mentality. FE, no, it doesn't work like that. There has to be trust or some form of loyalty or understanding, because if not, you're going to have a hard time, because a huge part of this type is trust. And then just overall, FE is very sympathetic function, very fun, very playful, able to adapt, and very much so dependent on, it's a reflection. They reflect the environment, and because of that, they are very sharp in that regard. They carry themselves generally very powerfully, because as a FE type, they know I have to be strong for the group. And long story short, when you think of FE, especially for any users that aren't FE dominant, I want you to put yourself in a position where you're not thinking about yourself, you're thinking about the group. And then I want you to imagine, who do I have to be in order to make sure that this group is strong? And once you understand that, now you're stepping into the world of an FE user. Being who you have to be, whether that is the greatest boxer or the greatest champion, or somebody who's in an amazing job and who's a manager, or somebody who's doing anything. FE is about making sure they fit into the system, the structure, and the group. Because remember, TI is about systems. They don't have a problem fitting within systems as long as the group dynamic is solid, as long as they're respected. If that is intact, FE has the ability to contribute greatly to anything it's involved in. And outside of that, the last thing I'll say about extroverted feeling is family oriented, very much connected with the people that they care about. Their family is big, big time family people, big time friends people, very socially adept, very fun, very adaptable, and as I said, very caring and selfless. So that's a general overview of FE. I'm going to talk about the specific FE dominant types. I hope you learn a lot. Throw some questions at me. And thanks for listening.